Hi there folks, it's Deni. You know, sometimes it's hard to make time for video games. We all have to work or study or something else after all, but I'm sure there are some of you here who have plenty of time to spend on whatever you want, like, for example, on time killers games. Well, that's exactly what we're gonna talk about today, because even though some games make you spend literally dozens or even hundreds of hours, they are kind of worth it because they are awesome. So sit back and get comfortable. Today I'm gonna show you 11 games that will take you hours to complete. But before we begin, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe if you are new to the channel. Okay, let's get started. Well, let's start with No Man's Sky. It's a really cool sci-fi survival simulator game where you have to fight for your life in a huge and a really amazing space world. I'm not lying by saying that the world is huge. It literally has no boundaries. All the details of the game world here are procedurally generated. You know what that means? It means that the entire world will be unique to each player. You can get busy exploring planets, star systems and even galaxies. Also, those who like grinding a bit will find something to do here as well. You can gather stuff, improve your spaceships and characters' equipment, craft all sorts of useful things. You can build, hunt and mine resources. In fact, you are sure not to get bored here. The thing about it is that you still need to make time for all that stuff, but I'm sure you'll figure it out. Next up, we have the rather famous game Civilization 6. It's a sequel to the turn-based strategy game series that invites you to build your own empire out of, nothing. You have to work your way through many eras, taking control of one of the nations. You are free to build and develop your own civilization here, create technology, build cities, recruit armies, and more. Well, as for the gameplay, it is a turn-based. If you are not in a big hurry, you can wait a little bit for important decisions, or to be more precise, you can postpone them as long as you want. You can take your time planning the moves of your units, setting up production processes in cities, having diplomatic talks with other nations and rebuilding army units for the next attack. Thus, rush decisions and annoying mistakes are out of the question, but you have to pay for it with your precious real time.
Every day I want your touch.
Well, if you want something more dynamic, you should try Monster Hunter World. It is a sequel to the game series with the same name about fearless hunters who are ready to put their lives on the line for the sake of revenge against powerful monsters. What's interesting in this project is its role-playing part. Before you start hunting, you need to get the right commission, and only after that you can go off on a dangerous adventure. Each animal he has some unique characteristics, but also has some weaknesses that you should take into account if you want to win. Well, yes, this game isn't very beginner friendly and requires a huge amount of time and effort to master. However, if you like games where you have to constantly be getting something and improving your equipment, then this is exactly the right game for you. Well, I know how many of you are fond of RPGs, so now I'll show you Path of Exile. Very exciting RPG adventure. The action takes place in the fictional world of Reckless. The protagonist he is an exile seeking revenge on those who ruined his life. There are 7 characters to choose from: the gladiator, the hunter, the witch and others. And as it is supposed to be in any RPG, each of them has their unique skills skills and fighting style. As for the gameplay, well, you'll be constantly fighting with enemies and completing all sorts of quests and, well, of course, improve your characters, equipment and weapons. Moreover, here you can take part in online activities like PvP battles. Basically, as you might have already figured out, here you are sure to find something to do. Next, we have a simulation of colony building and survival RimWorld. As for the story, well, there is nothing unusual here. A space liner crashes on an uncharted planet. A certain number of colonies survive, they choose a leader and begin to establish themselves and develop. Well, that is it. But there is one thing. Unlike other games of this kind, there is a strongly developed social element. You have to deal with each resident separately to monitor the characteristics of your colonists, to protect them not only from natural disasters, but also from their personal problems, such as depression, to equip the lives of your people and improve their skills. All in all, you will have your hands full here, so be prepared to spend a lot of time on this game if you intend to achieve something here. You know what games are the best time killer ever? Of course, it's online games, so I suggest you to look at the cooperative third-person shooter Warframe. I'm sure many of you have already heard about this game, but if you haven't, let me tell you what it is about. The game is set in a universe where different factions are fighting for supremacy over the solar system. You control ancient Tenno warriors and use remotely controlled bodies, Warframes, in battles. Each Warframe has its own abilities. As for gameplay, you'll have firefights, melee combat and a lot of parkour. Also, you'll need to upgrade your equipment on a regular basis. There are both procedurally generated levels and large open world areas like in MMORPGs. But anyway, you can be sure that this game will easily eat up all your time. Next up, we have Crusaders Kings 3. This is a very well designed game with a lot of interesting mechanics. Well, in fact, it's one of the best global strategies in recent years. Here you will have a huge lively world at your disposal, where you will be developing your country through the ages. Just imagine, you have all the countries in the world at your service. Just choose the one you like and do like everything you and your successors can to feel the real power. Here you are not limited to just one country and will also conquer other territories. The process of conquering other countries here involves not only wars, but also confrontation on the political and diplomatic level, cunning negotiations, advantageous marriages, blackmailing enemies, and backroom deals are just some of the great arsenal you can use here to dominate the whole world. Sounds cool, right? Let's talk a little more about online gaming, because now I'm gonna show you Final Fantasy XIV, which is a massively multiplayer online role-playing game where characters can interact with other players' characters and with an open world to explore. At the beginning of the game, when you have to create your playable character, you get to choose a gender, set a name and customize their appearance, and choose your starting class. And then, well, the gameplay starts. You will run around the world, complete quests, fight monsters, get rewards, and on and on. Basically, it sounds pretty straightforward, but it's something you can literally spend hours doing. Well, enough talking about games with mind-blowing graphics and stuff like that, because I know that some of you are also interested in projects like Factorio. Well, let's take a look at it. It's an indie strategy game with simulation elements, where you'll set up automated production, explore all kinds of technology and build factories. There is no real story in this game. All you have here is a task you have to commit to, and it is well industrialized. civilization. At the very beginning, you won't have a cool modern technology or machinery or anything else. You won't literally have anything. However, you will still have to get ore and wood, process different materials, create vehicles to transport materials, explore new technologies and stuff like that. So you will have to go a long way from manual labor to high-tech machine labor, and trust me, it will absolutely not be easy.
Just like the street lights lit this town.
I don't think anyone will argue that you can play Skyrim forever. And even though it's over 10 years old, someone actually still plays it. Well, it's not really surprising. There is a kind of open world consisting of the desert spaces, dungeons, cities, towns, forts and villages where you can walk and explore every corner forever. And it's not even boring. The game's basic storyline revolves around the protagonist's desire to defeat Alduin, the World Eater, a dragon that behaves, well, to put it mildly, inappropriately. However, many players just give up on this quest and start it only when they are done with walking around the world and do all the side quests. I was one of those people personally, so well, I know what I'm talking about. Well, today's video will be coming to an end soon, and I suggest finishing it on the once very popular MMORPG Black Desert. Well, of course, a lot of people still play it now, but it hasn't broken the online record for a long time. At one time, the game amazed many players with its full character editor and the fact that there was literally a sandbox in the open world, where there is one large continent with different areas with different biomes. The story here is, well, not particularly clear, but if you do the story quests, you can figure out that there is a feud between the kingdoms here. As far as cool stuff here, there is probably the best craft system that's ever existed in an MMORPG. The crafts here are separate pieces of continent that may not even overlap with killing monsters at all. Want to be a regular citizen? Go ahead. You'll even have a separate craft kit and separate inventory. Many people have been playing this game for a dozen years, and not at all just to beat some enemies and earn a little experience. They do it because here they have their own virtual second life that they've created for themselves, and whether that's worth or cool is up to you to decide. Well, that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed this video and found something interesting, and if so, leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. It's been Deni, see you guys soon.